I just asked in my Discord, discord.gg/DekuPirate, where's Shido's VD? Where's his voice drama? What, does he not have one? And then I clicked. I was like, oh, yeah, that's why. That's why he doesn't. Because he's fucking dead. So this this episode's gonna be kinda short. But knowing me, I'm probably gonna be able to stretch it into like 20 minutes. Get the fuck! You know what's crazy is that if I had actually played any of those advertisements, I could have gotten copyright striked because I'm infringing on their rights to advertise. Despite the fact it doesn't benefit me in any fucking way. MILGRAM. Oh, there she is in the background right there. A little fucking creep. Little cretin. That sounded like a knife. Where did she get a knife from? Who gave her a knife? Isn't that like the thing that you're not allowed weapons? Well, no. Because, what's her name? Alpha Wolf. Fuck. Oh my god, what's her name? Kotoko. That was it, Kotoko. Yeah. I was wanting to say like Kiko, but yeah, Kotoko, the fascist. Did you know that actually somebody on the MILGRAM subreddit actually has made like a comment about me saying that they don't like me because I called Kotoko a fascist, despite the fact she literally does fit the definition of it, of overwhelming punishment and feeling that might makes right and total like control and other things like that without material analysis. Like that's fascistic. Her going around and beating up prisoners because she wants to, and she views it as some sort of moralized judgment that that's what she's supposed to do, instead of because it's not like actually helping anybody in this scenario, given the fact that Kotoko probably wouldn't have stopped Amine in any way. Yeah, that's fascistic. Kotoko had a baton, that was it. And people said that Amine was fine. She was fine, guys. She's not going to kill anybody. How would she be able to kill anybody? Oh, let's underestimate the girl who literally was said to have murdered her parents herself. She did that with her own hands. And then not make sure she doesn't get voted to a point that lets her hurt other people. The character that we're told multiple times not to underestimate people underestimated again and again and again. Are you guys fucking demented and incompetent? Okay, let's just keep going. So, you wanna forgive Amine? You wanna still forgive Amine? We literally just saw that she was very in her own head. She knew what she was doing, and she killed Shido, a grown man, for helping other people. Or do you want to just say, oh, well, we can't blame her. We can't blame the actions of this child that has willingly continued to do this without actually doing anything to prevent or harm reduction. We need to blame the cult and invoke Amine innocent, right? She's not doing anything wrong. Is that what we're going to do again, guys? Are we going to vote Amine innocent again because of this dumb fucking, like, perspective of what they can do?
なぜ抵抗しない。
この終わり方には納得しています。俺に似合いの終わりだ。
And if I see a single motherfucker go, oh, well, Shido wanted to die. So, if you're suicidal and I pull out a gun and I shoot you in the head, I'm not a murderer. I'm not somebody that just suddenly killed an innocent person because they wanted to die instead of, being helped or anything along those lines. We're going to be that nihilistic and to think that human life can only be kept alive if it has a purpose and is functioning in a typical way.
何をする。
大丈夫です。君はやり直せる。
何を言っている。
周りを頼りなさい。そして俺で最後にしなさい。約束しよう。
私はあなた。
Knowing with what happened with what's Moo, who knows what's going to happen with Amine. I kind of hope they don't like twist it and be like, hey, now she can be forgiven. She apologized, but like. There's a very difference in the intention between Moo's murder and Amine's murder and the murders of other people who did it like with their own hands, right? And I think it would honestly genuinely deserve much more unless they're able to properly pull off a redemption arc or somehow of Amine, which would be interesting and would be a twist, but it's one of the things I mentioned of like where it's a flaw of how long this thing is and how long it takes to make is that you get attached to the way that a character already is, and because that's the way that they're shown, it's essentially like going 5 seasons with a character already acting like that the entire time and then suddenly twisting it into doing something else, even if it was planned from the beginning, but it just took so long to do, right? It's that same thing. Let's take like the Batman, for example, Matt Reeves' Batverse, right? That if in the first one we see that Bruce like accepts the fact that he needs to be a symbol of hope for Gotham, he can't just be a symbol of vengeance, and then immediately in the next movie he changes. And it's only been like a year, and now he's changed even more so, and now he's fundamentally even more different than before, and not even in like a positive way. That he is just like maybe I don't know. We can say that he's more Bruce Wayne than Batman now, or something like that. Like he almost went through like a bit of a corruption. It feels weird because we waited so long for the sequel that now having this image that we had built up, instead of seeing that continue and now naturally progress into something else, we're thrust into, oh, here we are.
ずっと嫌いです。
それは残念。
He said womp womp.
なんですけどね。
Oh my god, Shido. He literally was like, he was trying to help her even in the end, where he's like, let me be the last kill. Let me be your last kill. All right? Just work with others from now on, all right? If you let me be your last and you can just go try to be normal. And it didn't work.
会いたいな。
And now he was probably rubbing the head of his kid. He might have even been hallucinating there for a moment, thinking about Amine, and his words just so happened to maybe get to Amine in some way or another, because who knows if that's actually going to help her. It could just make things worse. Alright, what happened? Wait, hold on. 1992? Okay, let's go through everything one more time. Alright, we see Amine being really stealthy, because if you notice here for a second, she isn't there. You could kind of maybe say that there's something back there, but I really don't think that there is. It's just like the blur line and then the artifacting and chromic abrasion from the lights making it seem like something is there, and then now there is something there. See, it could have even been the fact that there was on the layers of animation that there was something there, and it was like kind of transparent, showing something through just a little bit before Amine was added to that frame. He seems to have been coming from a medical ward or medical room of some sort, which he has a key to. But my question is, how did Amine get a knife? And if we remember correctly, Shido was the only one that was given access to the medical thing. And now that Shido's dead, I didn't know if Amine snagged her or not. She might be able to get in there and grab something. To maybe murder somebody else with. I mean, for all we know, it could have been that Mahiru didn't die. This is just like a fringe theory. She didn't die because of her injuries. Amine killed her directly because she was being helped, she was being bandaged and stuff, and because of her cult, you're not allowed to help people like that. Maybe she purposefully made it worse to kind of rebalance it out, and that caused her to die. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people underestimate how easy it is for anyone to kill somebody if they have a knife. Right? It doesn't matter how big you are, right? If you're just an adult like Shido, who's maybe just a little bit built, and somebody comes up at you with murderous intent, even if they're a child, they could probably kill you. They could probably stab you really good. That's the whole point of a knife. It's a force amplifier.
幾度の警告にも従わず、お前は神を冒涜し続けた。決して許せることではない。
I think the other big thing about this is that you need to understand that Amine is acting like this, is acting like this version of herself despite the fact that she put on like that veneer, that fake personality with S. So this clearly is the way that she actually is, and all that other times she was being manipulative, which wouldn't be unheard of.
故に私が神の代行として裁きを下す。
Also, no one should blame Shido for not fighting back, because, like, it doesn't matter. Maybe it was because she's a child, but even if he did fight back and Amine was still able to kill him, that doesn't suddenly make it, like, what is it called? Self-protection, right? Or self-defense, right? It's still murder. I also don't think that he would have fought back regardless of who it was. Even if it was like Kotoko who did it, I don't think he would have fought back. He's just in like that sort of pathetic enough extent.
終わり方には納得しています。俺に 身に
Why? You're being dyed by getting cut because you were a surgeon?
愛の終わりだ。
何をする？
大丈夫です。君はやり直せる。
何を言っている？
周りを頼りなさい。
I think there's a point where the only way to right your path if you've done something so bad is to accept your own death. I think that's a big thing. Is that, let's say we have like a mass murderer, right? Suddenly understands that he's wrong, everything that he's done, the people that he's hurt. I think the one thing that you can only do at that point is accept punishment and accept defeat. Right? And it's one of those things where you might be thinking, well, then what's the point of doing it? It's a moral thing, right? It's an empathy thing where if you understand of all the wrong that you've done, now you're understanding the intention and the relation between you now accepting your fate and your punishment.
そして俺で最後にしなさい。約束しよう。
Because for you to walk the right path doesn't guarantee absolution of your sins. It just means that you are now choosing to do the right thing. And the right thing doesn't always mean that you're going to continue to live or to continue to live the way that you want to and other things like that.
私はあなたがずっと嫌いです。
それは残念。
Very interesting that she runs. She begins to walk and then runs, meaning she probably like just either A, hated hearing what she was hearing and wanted to get away as quick as possible because she knew that at least in her mind, Shido was trying to manipulate her, or maybe she didn't want to come to terms with what was actually being shown in front of her.
子供好きなんですけどね。
Are you? So far, your track record is really bad. Your child's dead. Amine killed you. Bad relationship with Mu, I think. And S. S is, there's always that like weird awkwardness between them. And then the kid from the MV.
会いたいな。
Wrong. That's not what would have happened. He wouldn't suddenly have dropped like that. Well, depends, because if he's bleeding out to that point already, that would mean that it would be hard for him to lift his limbs in the first place. And let's see, because usually whenever you die from getting stabbed, it is really, really slow, right? If compared to like dying from getting burnt to death to then, or getting stabbed in the heart, getting stabbed in the heart is worse because whenever you get burnt, immediately all of your nerves are singed before they can even send a signal of pain, right? Even sensation. And a lot of times whenever people immolate, they can sometimes succumb to shock and just straight up die. Their just brain like shuts off, right? But when you're stabbed, you will consistently try, your heart will keep beating, and that pain of the blade in there will keep sending pain signals. And as you begin to bleed out and you begin to lose oxygen, you'll get like that tingly feeling, and then you're just gone. and you're probably not going to be gone right away. You're probably going to fall unconscious, and then only like a minute later or a few seconds later will there's been no more blood to the brain to keep it pumping, and then you're gone. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm obviously going to keep doing it, but it's one of those things I just have to say. Is it even worth like reading these? Because like people in the comments were telling me that they're not accurate. That it's fucking all of it isn't correct. It's not the actual final information. What the fuck is the point of this then? What's the point of showing us this if it's like, oh well, it's just correct from a certain point of view? Bitch, you are not an ARG with that much like depth and shit, right? You brought an abortion into this and was like, is it murder? And and then you're like, well, she fell down the stairs. Is it murder? The 18-year-old who was just only a child a few months ago was forced into sex work because of the predatory nature of Japan. Is she a murderer? Oh, is she a murderer? Ooh, I wonder. All right. Born in 1992, Shinjuku Ward, Tokyo, Shido Kurosaki is a physician working at a renowned university hospital with a bright future ahead of him. At the age of 24, he married his childhood sweetheart of 10 years. Aww. They met when they were 14, or when he was 14. And was blessed with 2 children. He was leading a picture-perfect life that was more that anyone would aspire to. He worked in the transplant department of the hospital and specialized in organ transplants. He would often interact with the families of brain-dead patients and was in a position to ask permission for their loved ones' organs. The family's devastation and his role in clinically ending the lives of these brain-dead patients did cause him heartache. But he also firmly believed that his work was essential to save the lives of as many patients awaiting organ transplant. Yeah, because, I mean, one brain-dead person can save a dozen more, right? Whether it's a lung transplant, a kidney transplant, and a kidney transplant for another person. And, yeah, a heart transplant. Oop, shit. Go back. Okay, here we go. Awaiting organ transplants. One evening, where there was a collision with a taxi and a large commercial truck. The victims who were brought into the hospital were his wife and 2 children. They had been heading to the hospital via taxi to bring a change of clothes for Shido that he had forgotten that day. It was a devastating accident, and it was clear that both his wife and children would not survive without immediate care. It is generally forbidden for surgeons to perform on their own family members. Shido was put in charge of the surgery for the driver, the very man who had bulldozed his entire family. Shido's head was in panic, but his hands moved automatically. He quietly killed the truck driver. Taking care to make it look unintentional, he thought the sooner he was done with this surgery, the sooner he could take care of his own family. Just want to say right out the gate right there, nothing wrong with that, because clearly something fucked up was going on with that driver and was putting other people in harm's way anyway, and now is in an accident and is put at the behest of somebody he physically affected, and now the consequences come from your reckless driving. Because you, like, it does not become that bad, nor is it worded that way if it's his wife that was driving and collided into the truck on accident, but rather the truck driver collided into them, maybe T-boned them or something. I don't know. With the situation being an emergency, Shido is given an exception and is allowed to treat his family. Despite this, his wife and younger son die soon after. In his despair, Shido works and prays ferociously in hopes of at least saving his elder son. However, after weeks of lingering in limbo between life and death, his elder son's condition became all too clear to Shido. The familiar condition of brain death. Shido had explained to countless family members that brain death was synonymous with actual death. But when the role was reversed, his world turned upside down. The sun laying in front of him was still warm to the touch, and Shido could not bring himself to admit that this was indeed death. Shido regretted and felt deeply ashamed of the role he had played in convincing the families of brain-dead patients to succumb and donate their loved ones' bodies for the good of some stranger. It is not ethical. It is inconsistent. It is ugly and evil. In a state of severe self-loathing, Shido rummages through his son's belongings that were brought in from the scene of the accident. Disorientated and in a haze, he finds a piece of paper and tears it to shreds. It was the organ donor card that Shido had repeatedly told his family to carry with them at all times. I'm an organ donor, so that if I die, I can continue to help somebody. That if that's your consent, the people, unless this is different for Japan where they just pick random people, right, that are brain dead, you can only donate organs if you're an organ donor and if you meet the requirements for things such as blood type and even age and other things and signs of health and the like, because if it's not like if it's not within a certain margin, it's unusable and can harm the person it's transplanted in, right? It's so weird. I wonder narratively if they're literally trying to say that it's unethical for human transplant, despite the fact that just because, you feel bad that you think you killed a person that was brain dead and then used their organs, and you're like, well, that's so brutal. Okay, your sentimentality is overwhelming, right? You're not thinking about the fact of the countless people who have now genuinely been saved. If a single brain dead donor saves 2 lives, that is now infinitely more than continuing the death of a person and letting them rot, their body, their carcass that is only still biologically alive, continue to wither and decay when they could possibly be helping other people. So it is genuine just self-loathing and inconsistent. No, usually it's pretty consistent of getting people who are actually needing organ transplants or are organ donors and convincing people. It's usually one of those things where it's like, hey, if they say yes, even if you convince them, you can still reassure them that they're helping another person, and it's not just some stranger. You shouldn't be negative all the time of being like, oh, well, this random stranger could be a horrible, horrible person. You don't know that. You should give the benefit of the doubt and hope that, even if they are a horrible person, that this organ transplant could lead them to a better life. Save all succeeding information to MILGRAM. Yeah, I still say he's innocent. Absolutely. 100% Eno. 100% Eno. Nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. I mean, you could make an argument that said, in saying what he did to the truck driver was wrong. Yeah, but what about you? What would you do in that situation where, let's say, somebody you loved, or a pet that you love, or something you really care about that is alive and living and is an active part of your life every single day for years and years and years, it suddenly dies, and they are killed and you now have the person in front of them who either willfully did so or ignorantly did so based on their inaction or their ignorance of their actions just based upon how they are as a person, you have the chance to not have just have vengeance, but more specifically to make them like have the consequence for what happened, right? And this could also relate back to Kotoko or even Futa being like, well, this is a form of vigilante justice. And yeah, I could definitely see that. And personally, I would say that guilty or innocent, is what he did wrong or bad, right? That's one of the whole things that people always correct me on, and what I always see people getting corrected on is that it's not innocent or guilty if they did or didn't do it. They did do it, but was that right or wrong? And I would say it was fine. I don't fault him for doing that, right? But I would say it was his job, and he was being put in the care of this person to take care of him, right? And what he should have done is he should have saved him and let like law handle it, right? And get charged with whatever felonies and manslaughter charges that he would be given, right? And you can also make the argument that in that instance, Shido was taking the law into his own hands and was enacting his own form of justice onto him. That, honestly, if we're looking at it from a case of you are only put in jail due to the people you affect and the material conditions that you affect, even though most of the time people that actually do go to jail is because they affect capital and affect capitalism and other things like that, that this punishment that Shido gave onto him wasn't something that was too, I wouldn't even say too extreme, because what he could have just ended up with life in prison, and that's essentially like taking away his life. So actually taking his life instead of helping him, well, he paid the price that was thought to have been worth it to the people that he affected. But I can definitely see how this gets really, really complicated. But yes, his actions itself, I think it could have been done in a variety of different ways, but I wouldn't condemn him for what he actually did. Because, I mean, knowing me, if I was a doctor and the murderer of my like husband and child, or my wife and child, or like my grandma, or anything along those lines came in on my operating table, yeah, I'm taking that shit into my own hands. But yeah, zoom on in. Yeah, that was good. I actually went over the time limit that I expected, and it's now 34 minutes. But thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below, and let me know your thoughts and your opinions and your judgment on this as well. Keep it respectful, keep it cordial, and everything like that. Don't leave hate comments. Don't be a fucking idiot and going and like leaving a bunch of shit, right? I will have it deleted, and my mods will delete it without anything. If anything, you could end up getting pinned and humiliated, and if you have a humiliation kink, all right, I guess. Yeah, I also have a Patreon. It is as low as $2.50 a month. YouTube memberships are as low as 99 cents a month. Please consider supporting monetarily if you are able to. It's the only way that I can continue to keep doing this. And go check out my other videos. Genuinely, go check out my other videos. If you want to see this channel grow, go watch the other stuff that I make instead of just the MILGRAM and Alien Stage stuff. That way that it can continue to grow, it can continue to get bigger and bigger, and more people start coming around to the community, and we can help more and more people teach or just give them a safe space. So yeah, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. To the YouTube members and patrons, aka the Ultimate Armada: Saline, Peachy Bun, Sleepy Sheepy, Lolo Barzal, Finch R, Emanali, Belle, Lilig McMillan, Henri, Shira, Angel313, Angel Ortega, Ariana Henry, Yoan, Test, Helen, Miles Morales, Buglar Kabagi, Another Dragon, Moons AW, On You, Lind, the Vocaloid Nerd ARG, Distar, Leah, Yui Izumi, AT, Chocobo / Chris, Annie, Sheng Guang, Number 1 Ash Bradley fan, Michaela Malone, Gondala, Haruka Sakurai, It's Hope, Mealy, Sen Amon Klein CEO, Ori, Questionable Decisions, Indami Sochiro, Shally, Purest Failure, Shelly, Joe, Futa Kajiyama, Nami WP, Kaku, Gukan, Mono, Cerulean, Brixie, Undying Flames, Nail, Rookie Go Boom, Pregnant Valentino, Hey, Makoto Kayano, Luca, Lunar Eclipse, Valis, Tavita, Anna Beatrice, Lilikasi Kus, Ariana Scroggins, Zahara Yavuz, Lilith Katrayan, Hania John Kowoska, Maria Rosales, Sai Vav, Game Roblox, Catherine Stacy, Mary, Uwu Owo Gur, Levi's Rife, Leached Mocha, Turkey Wacky, and Gloomerai. And now, a very special thank you to the paid tiers, starting with Fresh Pirates, Yui Izumi, Shelly, Angel313, Haruka Sakurai, Mealy, Lentil, and Flowers. And now for the crewmates, Saline, Makoto Kayano, and Shelly. And finally, an enormous declaration of veneration for the highest paid members, Shelly. If you wish to support me and see your name either listed in white at the very beginning of every video or read off at the very beginning of the credits there, you can become a free member through the Patreon. If you want your name in a custom font and color and name, you can become a paid member. All of the tiers are equal on both sites. 0.99 cents to $2.50 is Fresh Pirates, and from then on, all of the tiers are equal on both sites. There's plenty of ways if you wish to support. You don't have to do it monetarily. Thank you.